So, good morning, everybody. And actually, thank you very much for inviting me here. It's a pleasure to be here. It's great to see so many people interested in this topic. And, great topic, great panel. I'll try to explain a little bit first who I am and then what are we doing. And then, how do I see the relationship with angels especially? And how does that help, to accelerate companies and actually or eventually in some cases, to kill companies that are, starting to grow in their life cycle. And first of all, I'm Paolo. I'm actually an Italian living in Finland. I actually left Italy some 20 years ago. So during my studies, I did a lot of work in startups and in small companies. That is a classic thing in Italy, like here in Portugal. After that one, I felt that it was, there were some limits on how startups are done in Italy in most of the cases. And I was thinking about how can you make it on a global scale. Since there were no accelerators or incubators at that time, I ended up working for someone who I thought could teach me about it. So I ended up working for General Electric for a few years in a management program in Italy and in the US. When I came back, I continued my challenge for something fast-growing and global. So I worked for Nokia for 13 years, mostly for business development in a few countries, including Singapore, taking care of Asia for 5 years, and bringing service up to market. And then after that one, I ended up working in some 10 countries, mostly around Europe, and started to work with startups, running one, actually an online community, and then helping other startups advising and actually helping them to grow in accelerators and incubators, Startup Sauna, and lately I've been asked to run Up Campus. So Up Campus actually, it's a 3 years program from the Aalto University to help develop Windows Phone ecosystem around the world. So fundamentally, Microsoft and Nokia gave us 21 million euros for 3 years to help develop Windows Phone ecosystem in the world. The way we decided to use this money was basically to give grants to provide education remotely, online, and face-to-face with a seed acceleration program that we run twice a year with some 20 teams from all over the world. And then we provide go-to-market support. So we hold hands to the team even after the launch, helping them to deploy, market, especially for our marketing, and distribute with number of partners we have in portfolio. So far, we got something like almost 4,500 submissions from 100 countries. We have some 360 teams in portfolio, of which more than 240 as of last week have been already publishing. And we got a little of everything there, from crap stuff to something very, very good, like, with several million downloads in less than a year. And if I think about how we can cooperate with angels and what we do, I think the way I see it needs to be a win-win. And, the end result needs to be that we add value to the teams. And adding value to teams typically means not just the money. I think the money is the smallest part. It's mostly how do we guide them to go in the right direction, to do the right things, to prioritize them properly, and to avoid doing the non-right things. That is probably the key issues for startups. They end up doing a lot of things that are not the key ones for them to grow and to go in the right directions. So if I think at first, where do we get value from angels? So for people like you in an accelerator program like Up Campus, but I think you can generalize that one on a global scale. And I've seen this one again and again, because one of the startups that I advise, they do ranking and they do best practice for accelerators from all over the world, from universities. And there's something like 800 of those ones they've examined. So what I'm thinking is that we do see a lot of value in the image that angels give to us. So basically, having people like you helping accelerators provide image, provide credibility to an accelerators. If there would be just people like me, if there would be just the people running the accelerators and the teams, there wouldn't be such a strong value proposition for the team. So I think that the angels and the other coaches they have in portfolio helping the accelerators are fundamental, not just for the money, but for the capabilities they bring and the network. Then I think that the angels are fundamentally in kickstarting the network of startups and angels in an environment. And I think that they are the ones seeding the early stages so that then, startups can grow and then can move forward and become real companies, maybe on a global scale. Then I think that one other key thing is that startups need resources to grow. Normally, when they come to a place like ours, they have 2-3 people maximum. Very few cases that are much bigger than that one. But once they got the right directions and the right financing, they need people to grow, and they need people, I mean talent, people who know what to do and how to do it, and can help them to move quickly ahead. And I think angels, either because they can get involved into the startups or because they can leverage the network to help them find the right people, have a fundamental role into that one. The other thing that we give for granted, but is actually delivering a lot of value, is that we bring in angels to educate the team. So basically, they do lectures similar to what we had here today. They help teams to do hands-on, and actually they help them to review what they've done and tell them what makes sense, what they should change a little to tweak it, or what should forget doing. And I think that one is another critical thing of the value that angels bring to us. Fundraising, so the money that you guys put into startups are fundamental, even if it's kind of like known by everybody that one of the key things, that one. And I think one more thing that I think is very valuable is actually the comments and feedback that people like you give to us running the accelerator. I think that it really helped us a lot across these last 3 years to change the way we operate and to improve the way we do, the way we leverage the angels, and the way we leverage all the other coaches, and the way we interact with the partners and with the startups. So I think that the experience and the value you give us in how to operate was actually super cool, and I really loved it. And now, probably you should guys tell me if it's right or wrong, but at least based on my comments and understanding and feedback from your colleagues, especially in Finland, but not only, I think that where we see value in accelerators, that what we can give to you guys is basically one, deal flow, of course, where it fits your case. So for instance, we focus on early cases that do Windows Phone apps. So if you're not into that one, or if you don't wait until they move from Windows Phone to other platforms, it's not value for you. But I think that, ideally, is actually accelerators can help you to identify, and actually they screen for you as well, what are the best startups in the environment, the one that move the furthest. Then I think that something cool is actually in this kind of environment, like accelerators and incubator, there are a lot of ideas floating around. So it's one of the value we can provide is basically access to hearing these ideas, hearing new ideas, new concept, and hearing feedback from them and why they see this one is relevant, and especially toward a young audience with these new trends, new things that pop up, and early signals that can help to guide where to go in the future, or where to pay attention to see whether it will really make it through and become something big. Then, of course, the trends, generalizing those ones. For instance, lately has been in Finland, after mobile has been gaming. Gaming has been one of the big things for Finland. It's one of the hubs in the world lately, and maybe in the future could be something else, I don't know, like health and well-being. The networking, yes, I think that's obvious. But one of the things that we can do as well is that we can help to educate you guys. And I'm not expecting to educate you guys on how to invest, but there are new things that come through. For instance, app marketing. Very few angels, unless they've invested into areas where you really work on app marketing, are familiar with that one. But when we do education for the teams, when we cover the module on how to do app marketing, or how to do store optimization, or digital marketing in general, those competence, those skills that we transfer to the teams, they can be transferred even to the angels and to their other teams. They can join and participate. I think that's another interesting area. And then, of course, coaching in general on other topics, because we have a pool of teams, we have a pool of coaches that can help each other, even if they're not angels. So that was very quick. To summarize, well, that's the way we do it with a campus. We try to do a little different, but to summarize, I think that to me, it needs to be a win-win, the way we work with angels, with accelerators and incubators, and it's a mutual help to screen good cases that should be helped to move forward and help them to move faster, versus cases that actually, they might be interesting, but something is missing, either the fit between product and market or the skills in the team. So something is missing, and the team should rather be told that it doesn't make sense, they continue their way, either they find a way to fix it, or they stop and they try something new in the future, or help someone else who's a great idea to continue forward. Thank you very much, guys.